the sales manager for the U.S. mainland. So I handle our sales and marketing. I also do these trainings and all of our events. So let's see if I can get rid of this box. Kathy, can you see the PowerPoint and this box, or just the PowerPoint?
I see the PowerPoint, and if you're talking about the box where the chat screen is on, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
That one stays up during the presentation.
Okay. Let's try to get it out of the way. Okay. So I'll go through this.
Did that help?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So today we're going to talk about who we are, Nutrex Hawaii, and our parent company, Cyanotech. We'll talk about what is astaxanthin, what the benefits are. We'll go into our Hawaii market and our ambassador program, since we are a Hawaii-based company. We'll talk about the demo setup, and then we'll leave some time at the end for questions. So as we go along, I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions. Feel free to take notes as you're going. And definitely at the end, we're going to make sure we answer every question you have. We'll leave plenty of time for that, so don't worry. So we'll get started. Cyanotech was founded in 1983 by Dr. Gerald Siseski. So he is our founder and CEO. It's traded on the NASDAQ under CYAN. It is a publicly traded company. Under that, Nutrex Hawaii, which is our own brand name, was founded in 1990. BioAstin was approved by the FDA as GRAS status in 1999. So GRAS status means generally recognized as safe, and companies can obtain this if they meet the criteria for an adjustable. We're located on the Kona coast of the Big Island in Hawaii. So the Big Island is commonly referred to as the island of Hawaii. Our vision is improving the quality of life with aloha. We use an all-organic process, non-GMO, solvent-free, no herbicides, no pesticides. We have an environmental patent process on our ocean chill drying technique, where we use 2,500-foot deep sea salt water for cooling our not only the spirulina but the astaxanthin. We also use that same cold water from the salt water in our buildings as the air conditioning. So what we try to do is be as green as possible. So we have a solar farm that powers the facility during daylight hours, and we recycle all the water back into the pond. So our goal is to really keep a very small carbon footprint by using solar panels, deep sea salt water to air condition the buildings, and recycling all of our water. So our focus really is about our environment, not only for what we're making, but for the land that we use as well. So we'll go into this real quick. So our water source, we're the only company that uses fresh, pure drinking water in our ponds. So it's potable water. All the other farms tend to use river water, irrigation, or recycled water. And the reason why this is so important is it sets us apart because the quality of the water, the low contaminants, the trace minerals, these are things that are really important to these microalgae. Because the one thing about them is they're able to absorb some toxins and heavy metals from your body, but they also can absorb it from the environment around them. So it's really important that these microalgae are grown in the cleanest, purest, pristine, low contaminant environments as possible. And then in that same pipeline I mentioned where it goes about 2,500 feet deep, we actually use about 5% of that deep sea salt water in our spirulina product because of the trace mineral content of that as well. This water that we extract has never seen the sunlight or the surface. It has a very, very, very low content of salt because it's so deep. All the salt rises to the top. So it's not like typical ocean water. Some of these are a little bit out of order, forgive me, but we'll talk about this real quick. Our ocean chill drying technique is a patented process that basically the point of this is we when you have a nutrient, if you apply heat to it, it starts to deteriorate and degrade the nutrient content and the value. So the goal is anytime you extract or chill a nutrient, it needs to be done at the lowest temperatures possible. And this process that we do is very unique. Only a few companies in the world use it. And it really ensures the quality, potency, and highest possible nutrient content out of any of the other competition. So Nutrex Hawaii is our brand name, and our products that we sell are Hawaiian spirulina and BioAstin, which is astaxanthin. And I'll talk about both of these, but obviously today we're going to talk mainly about BioAstin and astaxanthin. But just so you know, we also make Hawaiian spirulina, which for a long time we were the largest spirulina producer in the world. So we make a pure spirulina powder, we make tablets, we do a greens blend called Green Complete, and we do a protein blend called Hawaiian Spirulina Protein Shake. The key point of knowing this is most people have probably heard of spirulina, whereas not as many have heard of astaxanthin. So a lot of times I use this as a selling point and a segue, mentioning spirulina and then kind of diving into our other microalgae, astaxanthin. And we'll go into this a little bit more later in the presentation. So the farm, at heart, we're farmers. We have a 100-acre farm on the Big Island of Hawaii in the Kailua Kona side. It's a biosecure zone, meaning that this entire facility on this portion of the island, none of the other companies can use any herbicides, pesticides, GMOs, no solvents. Everything has to be done in a very organic manner. And what that allows is a very clean, contaminant-free environment to grow this microalgae. And as you're looking at this picture, you can see that the ponds, the long ponds going up and down with some more of the color, those are our astaxanthin ponds. And the ones that are perpendicular, closer to the ocean, those are our spirulina ponds. So our facility has grown from just 2 acres in 1983 to over 100 today. And we actually continue to find new creative ways to produce more and more of this product on the same amount of land, because the one thing unique about this island is there is only so much space you can use to grow the product. So we continue to kind of push the limits and find better techniques to growing these products. Again, we only use fresh drinking water from Kona aquifers and the wells, which is one of the cleanest, purest, low contaminant sources of potable water, not only in Hawaii, but anywhere in the US. And our slogan is farm to bottle. So we're the farmers, we grow this product, we bring it to market, we sell it under our own brand name, under Nutrex Hawaii and BioAstin. So this makes us very unique to a lot of the competition that just private labels, or they sit behind a desk and they order product from a manufacturer or another distributor, putting their label on it, calling it, XYZ astaxanthin. So this is actually our product, from farm to bottle. Sorry, I got some mixed up notes here. So these are just some shots, aerial shots of the ponds to give you an idea. And I'm going to go into more detail on how this is actually done and why the color changes. So, but first, how do you pronounce it? So those of you not familiar at all with astaxanthin, it's a carotenoid. So it has kind of a funny name to it. So it's real easy to pronounce once you replace the X with a Z. So astaxanthin. It's a very difficult word when you're looking at it, and you'll see a lot of your members struggle when they look at it to try to say it. So really important that you know how to say it and are confident. I always joke and suggest, like, telling it to your coworkers, telling it to your spouse, just saying it out loud multiple times and become comfortable with it makes it a lot easier. So BioAstin is the name of our product, and the ingredient inside of it is astaxanthin. What is astaxanthin? So it's in the carotenoid family. I'm sure most of you are familiar with beta carotene. Beta carotene is the orange pigment, or an orange carotenoid in nature. typically found in things like carrots. Astaxanthin is the red carotenoid, and this is typically found in things like salmon and crustaceans. You even see it in flamingos. That pink color that flamingos have is because of astaxanthin. But it's 40 times more potent as an antioxidant than beta carotene. So, and one other unique feature is it's both water and fat soluble. So this allows it to get into all the cells in the body. So similar but very unique. It's the most potent natural antioxidant found in nature. It's grown and derived from Haematococcus pluvialis microalgae. So that's the actual technical name of the microalgae that we produce. And this particular strain produces the most concentrated amount of astaxanthin. Don't worry, this is as scientific as we get. No one's going to ask you what the name of the microalgae is, so don't feel like you got to remember all this. But know that this is in your slides, in the books, at your demo table. So if it ever does come up, you'll be able to refer back to it. So again, it's Haematococcus pluvialis is the name of the microalgae that we produce, where we extract the astaxanthin from. Astaxanthin has an ORAC value of 2.8 million. To give you an example, things like turmeric have a ORAC value of about 140,000. So it's extremely more potent than things like turmeric, beta carotene, and so forth. So this will be important to remember because this is a potent antioxidant, and there's a lot of competition in that category now as we continue to move forward and with this kind of more health movement. But again, I'll go into some more depth on that here just in a minute. So on the left-hand side, you see the green cell. That is actually the microalgae that we grow. And this, when it looks like this, it's in a happy, healthy, natural state. It's in a clean environment, getting the nutrients it needs to flourish. And what happens is when this algae is stressed, typically when the sun and the UV rays start to hit it, it has created this protective barrier over time to protect it. And when it's stressed, it produces this barrier of astaxanthin. So you can see on the right-hand side that kind of cyst that forms over the cell is actually protecting the cell from any oxidative damage. And this cell, with the astaxanthin around it, can live in intense heat or cold without food or water for 40 years. So it's the longest known living organism found in the world. And if you were to take that cell after 40 years and put it back into a nutrient-rich, healthy environment, that astaxanthin shell would kind of retract, and that cell would be a happy, floating, alive little guy again. So the reason why this is important is because what this astaxanthin is able to do for that microalgae cell is it's able to do that for your cells in your body to help protect it against oxidation. This is a chart on the ORAC scale, oxygen radical absorbent capacity is its name. And I've just thrown in some highlighted ones you've probably heard of. So acai berry, vanilla bean, turmeric. Actually, I got that wrong. It's 127,000. So you can see that astaxanthin at 2.8 million is at the top of the list as far as natural, human-safe, consumable antioxidants go. So how is BioAstin grown? So the initial production of Haematococcus pluvialis takes place in a closed culture system, then is scaled up to a 200,000 liter open pond system. So it starts up in these small little beakers, very concentrated. We test for potency, purity, contaminants, everything that we need to make sure that it's the right strain. And once it's ready, it continually gets scaled up until it is finally released into these large open ponds that you see. These are freshwater ponds. They're only about 12 inches deep, and they are continually agitated by these spinning wheels that move the water. And the reason for that is we're trying to bring the algae up to the surface of that shallow pond, because as the sun is out, it is causing oxidation to happen. And that oxidation is important because we want the microalgae to form that protective barrier of astaxanthin around it. So on the left-hand side, you can see a pond that is fresh, probably only 1 day open. And the one on the right is after about 5 to 7 days of sitting out in the hot Hawaiian sun. And all that you see there is astaxanthin. So that pond on the right is ready for harvesting. So all of these are completely closed systems. They're closely monitored. We do our own internal testing every day to ensure the low contaminants, high purity levels. We also do third-party testing. And after the reddening cycle, the Haematococcus cultures are harvested, washed, and dried. And the entire cycle from start to finish takes over 2 months to produce this. So anytime you grow anything, and especially a supplement, you do it in a natural organic environment, it does take a lot more time, and typically it's much more costly than, say, a synthetic version that is made in a factory using petrochemicals. One other key thing to note is we use a supercritical CO2 extraction process, and basically what this means is we extract the astaxanthin from the algae using compressed air rather than a solvent. A lot of stuff is extracted using solvents, methane or acetone or other things that actually absorb into the supplement, which you will then ingest and absorb yourself. So another thing that really sets us apart, again, we don't use any solvents. Astaxanthin is found in foods such as salmon, lobster, shrimp. Obviously, I mentioned the flamingos, although we don't eat those. So you can actually ingest and absorb astaxanthin through food source, through crustaceans, marine life, and such things. Rainbow trout also has it. So one key thing here to remember is these marine life are eating the algae that produces astaxanthin. So we don't get the astaxanthin from the marine life, we get it from the algae. So there is no seafood or shellfish in any of our products. It's completely vegan. The product itself is completely vegan. What can BioAstin do for you? So the key thing here is, remember, it's one of nature's most potent antioxidants. It's able to support joint and tendon health, skin health during UV and sun exposure, supports eye and brain health, your cardiovascular system, helps to recover faster from exercise, and results you can feel. So I'll go through these one by one. Joint and tendon health. So typically what happens is inflammation is what causes just about every disease, illness, and pain is typically inflammation. And that can start in various areas for various reasons. So by having a strong natural anti-inflammatory, it's able to help protect the cells from oxidation and reduce inflammation. So in the joints, it also helps to lubricate the joints, somewhat similar to like a glucosamine or chondroitin. So glucosamine is different, where it helps to stimulate cartilage growth. The chondroitin can help get in there and lubricate joint. So what this one does is it actually attacks the inflammation that's causing the pain. So the difference between glucosamine and, say, a strong natural anti-inflammatory like astaxanthin and BioAstin is astaxanthin will not help to rebuild cartilage. So if you know that you've had an MRI or a scan done, you know you have deteriorated cartilage and you need to focus on rebuilding that, then something like glucosamine would be a good supplement. But as far as the pain you're feeling, glucosamine will not relieve that pain. Regardless if it's rebuilding the cartilage, you're still going to have the inflammation. So taking astaxanthin is going to help to reduce that inflammation pain that you're feeling. So some of these go hand in hand. Sometimes people think that glucosamine or chondroitins will help reduce the pain. So it's just good to be aware of what our product is and what it does compared to products that people are more familiar with and what they've been taking. Supports skin health during UV and sun exposure. So we actually have a US patent on this process that BioAstin helps to protect your skin from UV damage during sun exposure. And the reason why we're able to claim this and proven it is because it gets into your cells. Your skin is your largest organ, and it's protecting all of those cells from oxidation and UV damage. So you can actually stay out in the sun longer without getting the inflammation, the reddening effect, the UV damage, or the UV rays cause damage to the cells. Of course, we still recommend precautionary measures when you're out in the sun, but it's definitely a great supplement, especially those that are outside a lot. or people that just are concerned with their skin health. It's been shown to reduce fine lines and wrinkles, helps with moisture retention and skin elasticity. So we have a lot of health conscious, skin conscious people that buy this product specifically for that reason, only to find out that it also helps with the inflammation and other benefits. Supports eye and brain health. So the way it's able to do this is astaxanthin is very unique as this antioxidant, and it's actually able to cross the blood-brain and the blood-retina barrier. This barrier is a protective mechanism your body does to keep harmful toxins and chemicals out. And what it also does is it sometimes restricts good nutrients from getting in. So you've been told, I'm sure you've heard this, if you want to have healthy eyes, eat carrots. Carrots have a lot of beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is good for your eyes. So this is actually false. Beta-carotene does not cross the blood-brain or blood-retina barrier. Therefore, it does not actually help protect your eyes from UV damage or macular degeneration. Astaxanthin, lutein, zeaxanthin, those are 3 potent antioxidants that all cross the blood-brain and blood-retina barrier. So you've probably seen the Costco product called lutein and zeaxanthin. There's also a few others that Costco sells that are specific for eye health. And the reason why is they have antioxidants that cross the blood-retina barrier and are able to support eye health. Astaxanthin is the most potent one of these, and that is probably one of the single best antioxidants you can take for eye health. So people that have floaters, cataracts, macular degeneration, restless eye syndrome, things like these. This is a great supplement for them to take specifically for that purpose. It also gets into the brain, the fat tissue. The brain is made up 60% of fat tissues. So astaxanthin is able to get into the fat cells and protect the brain from oxidative stress. They've had recent studies showing that it's helped to fight the precursors that lead to neurological diseases such as Parkinson's, Huntington's, Alzheimer's, dementia, etc. So there's more and more studies that are happening to show that good, strong antioxidants help to fight the inflammation and to help offset this, some of these diseases. There are studies for this that we have in our tablets, and I'll go into that here in just a minute. Healthy cardiovascular system, it's able to get into your blood system. Again, it gets into every cell in your body, your blood system, all your organs. And what it does for the cardiovascular system is it's able to, again, to reduce the inflammation. It's able to help lower LDL cholesterol, which they call the bad one, and help raise HDL, they call the good one. It actually helps to repair DNA, damaged DNA. It helps with mitochondria function. So your mitochondria is a little powerhouse in your cells that produce energy. So if you're able to protect the cell from oxidation, and it's able to enhance the mitochondria function, it's able to give you more energy naturally. So that's the best kind that you want to have. And recovery from exercise, again, it's fighting the oxidation and the inflammation. So if you can reduce the inflammation quickly, you're able to recover faster. So for our athletes out there, their goal is to go out and train really hard. They want to recover as fast as possible because they need to go out and train really hard again. And this is another supplement that's going to help them do that. Results you can feel. The reason we say this is we offer a 60-day money-back guarantee on all the products we sell. We are 100% behind this. We believe that you take this product and you take it consistently and at our recommended dose, that you're actually going to feel the results. Now, typically we recommend 2 to 6 weeks taking the product to feel the results, and things could be, again, you could see the protection from the sun benefits. You could have it from the inflammation, any joint pain, muscle pain, things like that. Some people notice their eyes. So each person is going to tend to notice something different depending on what they're trying to combat. But our goal is if you take this every day, you take it with a healthy fat, which I'll go into, and you take it for 2 to 6 weeks consistently, you're gonna feel a difference. And I've been taking this product for almost 10 years, and I truly believe in it. I wouldn't work for this company if I didn't believe in the product. So 60-day money-back guarantee on all the products we sell, and that's whether they buy it at Costco or anywhere else. We stand behind our products completely. So what are free radicals? So we're going to go into a little bit about why antioxidants are so important. Free radicals are basically cells that have become unstable. They lose a electron. And when they become unstable, they actually start bouncing about and causing more free radicals, which causes oxidation, what causes inflammation, which causes diseases. So what you need to do and be aware of is that these free radicals can come from exterior environmental sources. So it is the cell phone that's in your pocket, the Wi-Fi signals, the lights, the contaminated waters, the air you're breathing, the food you're eating, everything that's happening in our daily life now has more and more toxins, chemicals, and it's causing more and more free radical damage, more than ever before. So something that's important to realize is the external environmental causes of our lifestyles today are causing more and more cellular damage in our bodies. So what is the only thing that's going to help offset this are antioxidants, at least for the free radical damage. So you can find antioxidants in food, in nature. They come in all shapes and sizes, and it's important to have a diverse diet of antioxidants. I wouldn't suggest that someone could just take BioAstin and say that they would be okay. They need to make sure they're obviously getting a wide variety. But because of the potency of astaxanthin and how strong it is, it's going to do so much more effectively than any of the other ones. And just for a quick example of what an antioxidant do, use this little chart here. It's fun. Pretend that the antioxidant is Mrs. Pac-Man, and the oxidation of the free radicals are the ghosts, these little guys here. Antioxidants, basically, they go around and they donate electron to an unstable cell, free radical. And by donating an electron, it stabilizes the cell and it brings it back so that it's able to become a healthy, stable cell again. Most antioxidants can only donate one electron. So once they donate an electron, they're neutralized, and now they've done their job, and they're just a spent antioxidant. Astaxanthin is very unique. So it's able to donate electrons multiple times to multiple different types of free radicals. And this is key because there's many different types. So this is why astaxanthin is 40 times more potent than beta-carotene or 20 times more potent than turmeric, because it's able to do it to many different types, many different times. And once it's spent, astaxanthin can never become can never become oxidation itself. I'll go into another slide here in just a second on that. So this is just a quick example of what oxidation would look like when you cut open an avocado or an apple. The air, the oxygen, starts getting into the molecules in the cells and oxidizing it. And in an avocado, it starts to turn brown. In an apple, it starts to turn brown. You would see this in steel or metal when the air starts to corrode or rust the metal. That's oxidation. This same thing is happening in our body every day. We are literally rusting to death. The reason why we die, why we age, why we have disease is because our cells oxidize and they cause damage. So you need antioxidants to help protect and offset against this. So in this test, this is actually found on YouTube. You can watch it. He cuts open avocados and apples. He puts astaxanthin on some. He puts vitamin C and beta-carotene and CoQ10 and green tea catechins on the others. And he sees which one will stay the green the longest, or in the apple case, white. And astaxanthin in all of these cases stayed looking green and white the longest by far. So fun little thing just to see kind of in real life. So astaxanthin, I heard that astaxanthin can actually cause damage. It's true. So what happens is when antioxidants degrade, they can actually be converted from an antioxidant into oxidation. So pro-oxidant. So nutrients such as vitamin C can actually switch teams and start causing damage like a free radical. There may be some negative press out there around antioxidants, but it is very important to note that science has proven that astaxanthin never becomes a pro-oxidant. So beta-carotene, lycopene, zeaxanthin, all these other antioxidants can actually switch teams used to being an antioxidant protecting you and neutralizing, and they can actually be converted into oxidation, which will again just cause more damage. So this is a very important point to make, because some people feel that too many antioxidants can actually be dangerous. So synthetic versus natural, this is important. You know, Costco is probably one of the leaders in the world in supplements as far as sales volume goes. And they have a lot of really good products. But like with any company, that, you know, they also sell synthetically made products, and that's just the nature of the supplement industry. So the difference between synthetic and natural is, you know, synthetic is made in a factory with petrochemicals and synthetic products. Obviously, natural or organic made are made with natural ingredients. The difference obviously would be, one, the cost. It's much more expensive to grow something naturally, whereas a synthetic in a factory, you can do things very cheap, very efficiently. There's no environment to worry about. There's very few variants to worry about. The other thing is your body doesn't absorb and receive and process synthetics the same way it does natural. So you're actually absorbing some petrochemicals when you take a synthetic, which will actually cause damage. Your body needs to recognize the natural source to truly get the full benefit out of it. So one great example we like to use is the wild sockeye salmon on the left versus the farm-raised salmon on the right. This is actually the reason they truly found out and started really studying about astaxanthin, was the farmed salmon industry was producing farmed salmon, and when they were cutting open the fillets, they were gray. And now nobody wants to buy gray salmon. They want to see a nice red, you know, colorful fish. So they had to do research into this, because what they started to do was color the fish using coloring. The FDA stepped in and said that, you know, they're not allowed to color the fish. So they went out, they started researching the salmon during their spawning season, and realized that right before they started their spawning mission, they would actually go and feed on all the microalgae. They would carbo load, if you will. They would load up on this stuff, and as they started swimming upstream, because they digest this microalgae, it stresses the algae. It actually starts producing the astaxanthin. So some of these fish, when they're jumping, they actually almost look like they're bleeding red. And that's literally the astaxanthin coming out of their muscles and their tissues. So it colors their flesh. It gives them the strength and the ability to do that, what they call one of the greatest feats in nature. So this is how they found out about astaxanthin, and then, of course, what they did is replicate it using a synthetic astaxanthin, and that's what they currently feed in almost all of the farm salmon hatcheries in the world. There's only very few that use a natural astaxanthin feed. So a great way to show your consumer, you can say, you know, natural, think of wild-caught sockeye salmon. Most of your warehouses have it. Think of the farm salmon. There's a huge difference. And not only that, as far as what you absorb somewhere around 10% of astaxanthin in farm salmon, whereas you would absorb much closer to 100% in the wild salmon. So it's a big difference. So here's a chart. This is showing the comparison of astaxanthin versus these other supplements as an antioxidant. So just keep in mind, we're only comparing the antioxidant property of this, not what the other products do. So astaxanthin, BioAstin, is 6,000 times more potent than vitamin C, 800 times more than CoQ10, 550 more than creatine, catechins, 100 more than vitamin E, 40 more than beta-carotene, 20 more than synthetic astaxanthin. So if someone is looking for a strong antioxidant because they're looking for a natural anti-inflammatory, this is obviously going to be the most potent, best natural solution they can find. This is not to be confused with, you know, if somebody is looking to take CoQ10 because maybe they're on a statin drug and they were told that it's good for their cardiovascular system. I personally take CoQ10. I take the active form called ubiquinol. I believe it's a really good product. It has a lot of great benefits to it, but I don't take it because of its antioxidant properties. So really, again, we're just trying to educate the members to understand what our product does and how it compares to maybe something they're taking. think I doubled up on this chart here, so pass through that one. So we get this question a lot. I'm sure if those of you that have done demos in the pharmacy, yeah, I'm sure you've already been asked this question by some members, but is our product approved by the FDA? So something you have to be really clear with is the FDA does not approve supplements. They only approve pharmaceutical drugs and devices. There is something we have to do with the FDA. We have to submit something called an NDI, a new dietary ingredient. We submit our paperwork, we submit the claims we're going to make, and we submit all of the research and documentation proving those claims. You send it to the FDA, they have 90 days to evaluate them. If you don't hear back anything from them within 90 days, that means you are good to go. It is literally that vague and simple. If there's a problem, if your claims are too elaborate or exaggerated, they're going to ask for more information, more studies, more documentation before they'll allow you to proceed. So they do regulate the supplement industry, but they do not approve supplements. So when you see any supplement on the market anywhere in the US, it'll always have the disclaimer on the back that says these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Now with that, we do have the one thing they do give you, and that's what I mentioned in the beginning, called GRAS status, generally recognized as safe. They only can give that to companies that prove that their product meets all the requirements and is safe for human consumption. So that is something you're able to tell your members. Reviews, we sell our product, we sell BioAstin pretty much at every retailer. So GNC, Vitamin Shoppe, Sprouts, Whole Foods, Kroger's, Fresh Time. We sell it on Amazon. We sell on multiple other websites, e-tailers, if you will. And all of these sites have reviews. So we encourage you to tell your members that if they're unsure or concerned about our product, feel confident letting them know they can go and look on these websites and read real reviews from real people. On Amazon, I think we have over 2,500 reviews now. Costco.com, we have tons of reviews. You can go to, again, Vitamin Shoppe, GNC, all these other sites that sell our product will have real testimonials that they can read about. We're 5-star on just about every site. And something to keep in mind is every person absorbs nutrients, minerals, antioxidants differently. Some don't absorb an antioxidant the same as someone else will. So not everyone, not every single person is going to have a great experience with the product, but I would say 99% do. We have an extremely low return rate. It's less than 1%, which is extremely well for a supplement. And it really just speaks to the power of how this product works and how people actually feel a difference. So just know when you're out there, and if they want to see other people talking about it, feel confident sending them out, letting them look at the different reviews. So we have an ambassador program. We work with tens of different types of people from all walks of life. This gentleman's name is Dave Scott. He's the 6-time Ironman world champion. That race is actually held on the Big Island of Hawaii in Kona, and he only won it 6 times. No big deal. But he actually finished in the top 10, I think, 12 of the 13 times he competed. He's a legend in the sport. He is now a nutritionist, a coach, an influencer. He's all about health and wellness, doing things naturally, doing the best things for your body. And he recommends astaxanthin and BioAstin as one of his top 3 supplements to take. So we have a lot of people out there that support our products. All these people have come to us asking to work with us because they've taken a product and want to do more with us. Mukula Rothman is a big wave surfer. He surfs these crazy 60, 80-foot waves out in Hawaii and all around the world. He's a multiple world champion. He's out in the sun 6-8 hours a day. And one of the reasons he told me he absolutely loves his product is he stopped getting sunburn. He stopped having to wear rash guards to protect his skin. Now, mind you, obviously I tell people to still take precautions, but knowing that it's helping to offset that damage is important to us. So 5 things to remember. It's one of nature's most powerful natural antioxidants. It's all natural, grown on the Big Island of Hawaii. It supports joint, tendon, eye, heart, brain, and skin health, recovery from exercise, and it's healthy aging results you can feel. You know, a lot of the anti-aging movement that's happening. This is a product that you'll, if you study and read that stuff, you'll see this more and more. I'm not going to go through all these, but I have these available. That way you guys can print them and read through them if you'd like, but it adds some additional key benefits and keywords to use. A couple things I'll note on here are, you know, BioAstin is both lipophilic and hydrophilic, meaning it gets into both water and fat cells, which is every cell in your body. And we have the 2 US patents, one for UV protection during sun exposure and one for carpal tunnel syndrome. Basically what that's emphasizing is that anything that's an oxidation issue, an inflammation issue, this product is going to help with. Some tips for selling BioAstin. Again, I won't go into a lot of these, but one I want to hit on. I do events almost every weekend. They're typically 12-hour days where I'm standing on my feet talking to people. I'm saying the same thing repetitively over and over and over. I've done the demos in the warehouses with you guys. I do them out at different customers like Sprouts and Vitamin Shop. So I'm very familiar with the difficulty of trying to pitch someone a supplement, not having something for them to taste or to try, where they're just flocking over because they want to have some samples. So I know it's a difficult process, but the one thing you really got to do, and it takes a little practice and a little meditation almost, is, you know, have positive energy and a positive mindset that's always inspiring to customers. So they want to feel that you're passionate about the product. They want to know it's genuine. So obviously we encourage all of the sales associates to try the product, to really have an experience for themselves. You know, the testimonials are the most important things, because when somebody takes something and it's recommended by someone who's had a positive experience, they're much more likely to take that as an authentic, genuine referral. So, and that's something that we've created in Hawaii for so many years, and that's really the reason why we're so successful there. So again, I won't go through all these, but I'll definitely leave these for you guys to take a look through. So the pricing at Costco is the best pricing you can find. We do a 4-month bottle, 120 count. We retail for $49.99. This same product on our website is available for $85.99. So when you buy it at Costco, it works out to 42 cents a day or $12.50 a month. I mean, anytime I've heard someone say they can't afford it, you know, I ask them, actually let me back up. One of the objectives you're going to get is, I can't afford it, or it costs too much. You know, $50 is a lot of money. So the first thing I always remind people is, well, you know, it's actually only $12.50 a month, 42 cents a day. You know, I personally have gone to Starbucks and spent $5 on a drink a couple times a month, and that right there is already more than what this would cost. So for something that does so many things, has such good benefits, it's almost there's no good reason or objection not to say that they can't afford this. Again, they won't find this price cheaper anywhere else. And when it's on sale during the instant rebate coupon at Costco, which happens once a quarter, we do a $10 off, and it's $39.99. Now, obviously, it sells a lot easier when it's on that IRC. You know, it works out to $9.99 a month or 33 cents a day. So a lot of times we have customers come back and they'll buy 2 or 3 of these, you know, a year's supply while it's on sale, so that they don't miss the sale again. I encourage that. I tell people, like, hey, this is a great opportunity to stock up now. So just know that this is the best selling price. It's lower than any other retailer. Costco demands the lowest price on their products, and you know, we provide that to them and for the members. And anytime you get an objection about price, you know, make sure you're breaking it down to the monthly and even daily costs so that they can get a better perspective. A lot of the other products that are sold in the supplement and the pharmacy area are 1-2 month products, so they have a lower price point, so it looks like they're cheaper. So this is an important piece to keep in mind. So I'm going to go through a couple other quick things before we talk about the demo table. Some things that always come up. Astaxanthin BioAstin is completely safe to take with any other supplement. It's also safe to take with any pharmaceutical drug. There's no known interactions with either. We've done toxicity studies up to 72 milligrams with no issue. So literally they could take about 6 of these and there's no known problem with that. Obviously there's a point of diminishing return. So 12 milligrams is already a very high dose. There's no real need to take more than 12 milligrams a day. For age, we typically say, we don't have a recommended starting age, but I always say if you have a child that's a teen that perhaps is active, or if they're trying to combat a specific issue, that it's perfectly fine to take. There's no problem with youth taking it. What happens is they don't allow youth or pregnant women to be a part of like medical studies and research. So there's no known documentation about it, but we've never seen an issue. I actually give it to one of my daughters because she's very fair, gets a lot of freckles, sunburns very easily. So I give her our smaller dose. We have a 4 milligram that we sell at like GNC. So this is also safe for your pets. If you have a dog, especially a dog that has some joint issue and problems, this is perfectly safe for them to take. In fact, I'd say 5% of our customers are pet owners. Our spirulina product actually goes into some well-known pet food companies as an additive because it has so many good nutrients for their pets. So the demo table setup, you should have a table throw to cover the cart. You should have the tablet stand along with the tablet and a battery charger in case you need a longer battery life. There's a pull-up banner. The sample pack, I'll mention real quick. We do not hand these out to every person that walks by. We use them as a tool, a lure, if you will, to bring people in. Because the problem is there's only one gel cap in that sample pack, and that's not enough for someone to see a difference. So it's misleading that they take it thinking that they might feel something in one sample. So really what I use that for is as a kind of a lure to stick it out in the aisle and drag people over. And then I start talking about the product and what it does. So you only get a very small amount of these. They only come once a quarter. When you run out, they run out until the next shipment and the next quarter happens. So again, try to be kind of diligent with who you're handing them out to. By all means, you can hand them out and give them away. But I just recommend doing it cautiously because some people do think that they might feel a difference from one of those. There's a binder that has most of this PowerPoint in it that you're able to refer back to show your member or for yourself. The BioAstin tray that has the stretch cards, I usually put that on the cart. And we should have some decorations like the lei, a surfboard, a hat, things like that. The tablet itself has a looping demo video. It has a beautiful video of a commercial we did that really tells the story of our farm and our product in a very professional way. It has commercials that we've aired in San Diego and Hawaii, consumer testimonials, ambassador images. It has this presentation in a PDF, and it also has something called the Astaxanthin Abstract Book. And that is the PDF that has all of the medical research of astaxanthin. So all the claims that I was making while I was doing this, those are all supported in that PDF that shows where these studies came from. So I think we still have time. So we're going to open it up for questions. I believe, just keep in mind you're on mute, so you would have to unmute yourself to ask a question. And
actually, Sam, we do the chat box down there at the right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anybody who has questions can go ahead and type in their question down there in the chat box.
That's right.
Yeah, and then we can just go ahead and answer them as they come in. So this is a really good time to get those questions asked that you might get from members and you don't know how to address. This is a perfect time for you to go ahead and ask Sam what his thoughts are on that. So does everybody see the chat box, I hope?
And as anyone is typing, I'll just kind of keep talking for a minute. A few things to note is I mentioned it's a 1-a-day gel cap. It's a 12 milligram formula. We recommend taking it for 2 to 6 weeks to feel a difference. We do recommend taking it with a meal, but the reason why we say that is it's actually fat soluble. So it's better absorbed when you take it with a healthy fat. And what that would mean is something like avocado or nut butter, salmon, eggs, anything that has some fat in it to help absorb the oil that's inside of that gel cap. Currently, the gel cap that we use is made from bovine. So this product, the BioAstin product we sell in Costco right now, is not considered vegan, although everything inside of the gel cap is vegan. So just a couple things to note. So we will be switching all of the capsules over to a vegan gel cap that will be obviously vegan certified, kosher, halal, and etc. So let's see. If they already take an antioxidant, how should we explain the higher potency that astaxanthin has relative to other carotenoids? So, most people that I've been interacting with over the last year have been taking turmeric. That's probably the #1 response I get. And I personally actually take turmeric, not daily, but I use it in various forms. It's actually a really good product. And the way I explain it to them is, I take astaxanthin specifically for the cellular protection. Because it's able to be both fat and water soluble, I know that it's protecting all of the cells. It's obviously much more potent, and I feel I get a better benefit. And you can word this how you want, but best bang for your buck. For 42 cents a day, I know I can take one BioAstin and get amazing protection from oxidation and inflammation. Compared to something like turmeric, I would technically have to take 20 servings to equal that same amount. And keep in mind, everything has a point of diminishing return. So you might take 20 times more of turmeric, but your body won't absorb it. So there's other factors to consider when taking something that's more potent. But again, our job is just to explain the difference, the benefits of our product, and allow them to kind of make up their own mind. Obviously, you can use the charts that we have in this presentation. And I suggest doing just a little additional research on other products in the pharmacy area to make sure you understand what their benefits are compared to astaxanthin. I don't think we have a tablet video at Costco 462. Haven't seen it used at BioAstin demo so far. Ask my manager. Yeah, Martha, please ask your manager and find out about the tablet. If you do not have the tablet, if it's been lost, then your manager needs to email Kathy, who's on this call, and she will notify me, and then we'll take the proper steps to get a replacement one, either mailing it or having a rep come and drop it off.
Yeah, just so you know, every warehouse was given a tablet, so I would really like to hear if that one is missing, because I have not heard that in the past, so I'm very curious about that. So please have your event manager email me.
Yeah, just so you guys know, we're in 262 warehouses in the U.S., and I think we've had 2 of them break over the last 2.5 years. I don't even think we've had one stolen. So, it's not common for these things to be lost, stolen, or even damaged. So hopefully everyone has it. It's just somewhere in a box in your manager's office. And we definitely want these tablets to be used at every demo. So making sure they're charged and ready to go before the demo is very important. I notice your ponds are open air. How are they protected from acid rain, volcano ash, etc.? What do you do if a natural occurrence happens to protect them? So yeah, this is a good question. So the real beauty of our farm being located on the west side of the island, the way the winds work in Hawaii, they are called the trade winds. The volcano that's active is at the very southern point, and it's not a spewing volcano. It's active. It's been active, I believe, since the 70s. But the air, the way the winds work, it actually blows it south, so away from our farm. When we had the Fukushima disaster years back, we actually tripled our testing And we also hired a second independent lab to do testing for us to ensure that everyone was comfortable with the results. We've never had an increase or a problem, because one thing to remember is our farm is using fresh water, and the salt water that we use comes from 2,500 foot depth. That water has been moved up through the currents from the pole, and it has never reached the surface of the earth, the surface at sea level. So it has no contaminants, no salt, no impurities. But we do constant testing and monitoring. So we do daily on the ponds. If anything is compromised, the pond is dumped. Basically, it goes through a recycling process, and we don't use it. So everything has to meet specifications. We also have something I failed to mention called GMP, Good Manufacturing Practices. So we have that certification that's also on our bottles, and meaning that we comply and meet all necessary specs and regulations for our facilities. Martha, what is Kathy's name? Oh, your manager should have Kathy's information. So just mention Kathy's name, and she'll be able to email her.
Yes, I'm with CDS, so your event managers email me all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't see any other questions right now. So Sam, one question I know I got a while ago was the commercial flights that go over and the fuel that gets released into the air, atmosphere, and down into the ocean. Is that also protected from the ponds?
Sorry, so you said the fuel and the light?
The fuel from like commercial flights, how it gets released into the air, atmosphere, and then it goes down into the water. The question is that there's a lot of flights that go over, and does that fuel affect the ponds at all?
Sure. So again, this kind of goes back into our testing. We do what our technicians and even our founder, Gerald Siseski, calls rigorous testings. Everything is tested constantly at each pond. So each one of those 200,000 liter ponds is tested daily to ensure the contaminants, again, potency, any other potential problems. So if you think about our Kona Airport on the Big Island, we actually don't get that many flights compared to, say, an airport like Honolulu or LAX, where they're getting thousands and thousands of flights every day. So all those things are negligible. I mean, they're minimal at best, and we don't have any problems with those. We've been growing this in those ponds since 1983, and that's never a concern. The Fukushima disaster never reached our facility as any type of concern. The active volcano, there's no problem there. We have some of the cleanest air found in any of the United States because of the winds. We're out in the middle of the Pacific. We're the farthest island from a major landmass of any of the other islands in the world. So we're a bit remote. And really, our testing is what we use to ensure that. And again, we use third-party testing to ensure that everything is what it's supposed to be. Okay,
great. And then do you want to touch on the sales goal?
Yeah. So, our expectation of every demo is to sell 5 units. So, 5 units, that's, if it's not on sale, that's $250 in revenue. So it's a relatively low goal, but we realize with the pharmacy demos it can be quite difficult. So 5 units is our expectation. If you hit 5 units, basically that ensures that we're able to continue doing demos week in and week out. And during different periods, we'll typically double up. And our goal really is to work with you guys as much as possible to make sure you have all the tools assets and training you need to be successful. So our reps will come into the warehouses just to follow up, make sure you have everything you need. If the tablet's not working, they'll fix the tablet. If you need samples, we'll try to get some samples. We'll answer questions. We'll bring new material. So if you ever see one of us, just know we're there to help. That's really our goal, is to help you reach that 5-unit goal. The problem kind of happens when we start dropping below that. So we'll tend to spend more time in the warehouses that are doing less than 5, so we can really help do additional trainings and so forth. So let's see. Could you please repeat the pronunciation of the founder? Yeah. So Dr. Gerald Sasesky, and I could be saying it slightly wrong, but if you ever Google his name, you'll see that he's known around the world as the godfather of microalgae, and he's been doing this since the 70s. So he is pretty much the foremost leader in microalgae in the world. Do you provide a plus size shirt? Yeah, we have XL. We might even have 2XL. They're unisize sexing. Excuse me, unisize sex sizing. So what that really means is they're men's sizing. So 462. Yeah. So we'll make sure. What I'd recommend to everyone is, if you don't have a shirt, please tell your manager, tell them what size you need, and ask them to email Kathy, and she'll put together a list for me, and then we'll get them shipped out or dropped off right away.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
If you guys, if you forget and you think of something later, I highly suggest going to our website, which is bioastin.com. There's a wealth of information on that site, more than I can go through now. We have a YouTube channel. If you're familiar with YouTube, you just go to it and type in Nutrex Hawaii. Nutrex Hawaii is our channel. We have tons of great videos there, great information. And if you're curious about going further down the hole, just Google astaxanthin and you'll find a wealth of information as well. But your manager is able to contact Kathy, who can get a hold of me. I'm happy to answer any questions I can. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the warehouses on a demo.
Okay, well, I guess if there's no other questions, then we can go ahead and end the training. So I want to thank everybody for being on the line, and Sam, thank you so much for helping out.
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you everyone that made the call today. Appreciate it.
Okay, bye.